The Great Eight stands alone as the NHL's all-time goal leader. Can anyone threaten that throne anytime soon? Plus, we'll examine the Atlantic Division race that has gotten oh so interesting over this past weekend. You're listening to the Locked On Leafs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.
You're Locked On Maple Leafs, your daily podcast on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome into the Locked On Leafs podcast, a daily Maple Leafs-centric podcast hosted by myself, Mike DiStefano, and my co-host, Dave Morassutti. And yes, technically, we typically like to focus on what's going on with the Toronto Maple Leafs first and foremost. We'll get our Leafs chats in, Dave, but we have to start with the big congratulations because Alex Ovechkin did it. We all knew that he was going to break the record in the game against the Islanders. There was a good chance that we thought he could do it Friday night at home, and he did not. He scored twice, didn't get the hat trick. He scored two to tie it, but then Sunday afternoon, he scored goal number 895, and the Great Eight passes the Great One and sits atop of the goal kingdom. Dave, it was great to witness history. Like that's really all that I could say is it's so great when we get to witness history like that.
Yeah, I was working today and I was kind of just on the edge of my seat every time Ovechkin was on the ice. Then they called that penalty. Shout out Pierre Engvall, former Leaf, getting to be a part of history.
Yeah, baby.
Taking the penalty by tripping former Leaf Rasmus Sandin. So that's how we bring in the Locked On Leafs podcast.
And they left together, if you recall, actually, the same day. They both got traded, I think, on the same day, and they left together, two little Swedes. But yes.
Two little Swedes getting to help the Russians score. Just like the call, everything about it was just phenomenal. I had the pleasure of sending out the breaking news alert. Probably one of the top two, there was a bigger breaking news alert, but this was the bigger story, obviously. Yeah. But just unreal, just like you kind of just like your heart, like you kind of get the adrenaline rush to just witness. I can only imagine what it was like being in there, and that was an away building. That it was not an away building in that moment.
There was a lot of red. There was a lot of red inside that building, like, wasn't there? I mean,
a lot of Islanders fans made a big profit off of that one. You know what? I don't think they even cared.
Well, it's funny because it's funny because I saw a tweet that said something about like, I can't believe that in the year 2025 with this terrible Islanders team, I'm forced to pay $250 for tickets to watch this garbage team, and everyone knew that's not what you're paying tickets for. You're paying that price because you had a good opportunity to watch Alex Ovechkin break that record and make history. And it's exactly what he did. Goal number 895, passes Wayne Gretzky for all-time lead. It was the perfect way too, right? Like a power play goal from his office. Wasn't the patented one-timer, but it was a sick wrister to beat his fellow countryman Ilya Sorokin. What did you make of the mid-game celebration, by the way? Like, they completely stopped the game for like 30 minutes, and it was just an absolute onslaught of Ovechkin celebration. I love that they did that for him.
Yes. They've done it, and if you look at any other sport where a player has hit a milestone like that, the game gets stopped, and the moment gets recognized the way it needs to.
Yeah.
And to me, that's why they had to do it that way. I understand where some people say, I could have done it after the game, but like, the moment's passed, right? Like you got Ovechkin, everything he was feeling in the moment. Imagine if you made him play the rest of that game. That would have been the hockey game was pretty much like half done at that point. To make him play the rest of it and then talk about it, like it was better to get everything in the moment while it was raw and fresh.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I thought it was awesome. And there was a great piece on NHL.com Thursday or Friday. Dan Rosen wrote it, and it was about the plan on how the league, they've been planning how they're going to execute the celebration when it happened, and there was like legitimate, like they had contacted all the road teams, like, hey, if it happens here, this is what we're doing. We're going to do a 4-hour rehearsal before the game just in case. And like the traveling circus was there. Gretzky obviously in attendance the last couple of games. Gretzky there tonight to shake his hand after he passed him and pass the torch. I suppose it really was just perfect how it all went down, and I'm so glad to be able to witness it. And like my hockey fandom has pretty much been like Ovechkin's whole career. Like we grew up watching this guy right from the get-go, coming out of the lockout, scored with like 50 something goals his rookie season. It was like, oh, this guy's something pretty special, I think. And who'd have thunk that literally 20 years later he was going to surpass Wayne Gretzky's all-time goal record. Something that I personally like wasn't sure would ever get beaten. Like the way that goal scoring happened in the 80s and 90s is not the way it is today. And I think that's what makes it so remarkable that Ovechkin was able to do it. And the craziest stat, Dave, so he beats Wayne Gretzky's goal record in game, was it 1,000? Is it 487? Is that the number? 1,480.
Yeah, that's the number.
Yeah, 1,487. He scored goal number 895. The same amount of games it took Wayne Gretzky to get to 894. It's insane. The same amount of games. He surpassed him, scored one more goal in the same amount of games. It's actually just like poetic that stat is there and so close. It's honestly so cool. And it was great to see his family there. A couple of his longtime teammates, Oshie, Nick Backstrom, obviously. It was such a surreal moment. It was awesome to see.
Yeah, it was awesome to see. Funny enough, there was another stat for you. This goal came against the Islanders. Wayne Gretzky's final goal was against the Islanders. So the Islanders know a thing or two about witnessing somebody score, that many goals. So that's just a kind of.
They gave up 894 to Gretz and then gave up 895 to Ovi.
Yep.
Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. It's funny too, because Sorokin's a one goalie who is one of the few goalies that Ovechkin has never scored on.
Exactly.
And I thought it was funny, his little mid-game thank yous. He tossed out a thank you to Sorokin for letting him score. And I don't think he let him score. That was quite the shot. That's how you do it. Yeah. Absolute howitzer.
Everyone kept asking, is he going to do it? Is he going to do it today? And I'm like, well, he's going up against 100%. Sorokin. And it was like, I said, like, probably. And as soon as that power play happened, it's like, for a fact, everyone's going for Ovi. Like we as colleagues were like, okay, power plays happened and we're ready for this. Like we knew the power play was going to happen.
I was at a card show and we were watching on the phone as it happened, and the place kind of erupted. I wasn't the only one watching on my phone trying to witness history. A bunch of us, were. The buzz in the room kind of started. It's like, he did it. He broke the record. And, then other people started logging onto the phones to watch it and see the replay. And it was a really kind of cool place to be for when it happened. A bunch of hockey fanatics in that room. And to witness it with all those people was actually a kind of cool moment for me. And one of those, like, where were you when? And to be in a room full of hockey fans, like fanatics, was pretty darn special to me. And speaking of, did you see that he wore 3 different jerseys? He wore a jersey in each period. Yeah. So I'm guessing he's going to get one. The Hall of Fame's going to get one. And what, Ted Leonsis is going to get the other? Is it probably
or family member is going to, maybe his mom or something, like someone close to him. Well, don't think it's going to be Gretzky. Could be Gretzky, maybe. No. But I probably would assume the owner of the team, probably.
Yeah. Get that framed up, toss that up on the wall.
2 things about this also, this whole day. This is the anniversary of when the Capitals won the lottery to get Ovechkin.
Yeah.
Which crazy. And you mentioned you were at a card show.
Yeah.
I had sitting beside me as I was watching the game, my good old Ovi rookie card that I got graded not long ago.
Where did you get that?
Remember I told you I had an Ovechkin rookie card sitting around in my collection somewhere?
Yeah, but when did you get it graded?
I got it graded from a buddy of ours who has a connection with PSA. So I got it graded. I've had
What's
this
the
card
grade?
graded a mint 9.
Okay, pretty solid. Do you know what that's worth? I could tell you in 2 seconds.
Probably worth a couple $100, maybe. Hopefully.
Yeah, probably. Was it?
Because I bought this card.
Is it the
I
Victory
remember.
rookies?
It's a UD Victory rookies. It's the silver one. I know the gold one, the gold framed one, is worth more. I got this card. Oh, I think it was
100,
2,000.
yeah, about 180, $200.
Yeah, so I got this card when I was in like grade 7. So
Nice.
2007, 2008, I paid $25 for this because I didn't. I
Well
couldn't find
done,
it.
Dave.
So I think I did pretty good. I do have another one. It's not graded as high as the McDonald's. It's like a $10 card, but it's just nice to have it graded.
Look at you. Look at you getting
one
into the
time I
card
get to show off a
scene,
card. You get to show off
scene.
your cards, and I'm like, I got this one.
You want me to do a little show off of some of my Ovechkin stuff? I got it sitting right over there if you want. We want a little show and tell quick time?
A little show and tell.
Talk to the people. Give me
I mean, but like this is the crazy thing because like I'm looking at this card and like, okay, I'll show the card again for those of you watching on YouTube. Like, if you look at Ovechkin now, it's a little hard to see because of the reflection. But like, imagine like what if you go and look up the card or photos of Ovechkin when he first got into the league, what he looked like versus what he looks like now. You can tell this guy's been in the league for about, okay, let's call it about 20 years. Like, obviously next year will be his like 20th year in the league. But like, yeah, it's just totally crazy because this car, like, he was like when he came into this league, obviously we heard a lot about Sidney Crosby, and it all comes Ovechkin. And like, I look at this car and I say, like, this does not look. You could tell a guy who, as I was telling the guys, Mike, like, guy who's been in this league for 20 years. Like, he looks. You just hear some of the interviews he's done, how he used to be when he first came into the league. Immature Russian guy. Now he's a Russian guy with kids.
Salt and pepper hair now. He looks like a real father, real dad. I got a couple of ungraded ones, the one that you got, a couple of these bad boys.
Oh my goodness, wow.
That I got. This is actually a really cool one. This one's it's a rookie showdown, but if you move it, you see what's happening there?
Oh, that's so cool.
Changes from OV to Crosby.
I've never seen a car like that before.
Yeah, no, that one's pretty cool. What are these? Another one right there, another little OV rookie. The one that you're mentioning, the gold border one, that Victory gold border.
Yeah,
I do have one of those. They're numbered to 100. There's only 100 of them, and I do.
They're very, very rare. So, like,
yes, very rare. And then there's a cool patch.
Damn, patches are nice. Yeah, but you could speak on this, like how much, like a historic moment like this, his card value is probably
skyrocketing. They are absolutely skyrocketing right now. Like so that card that you have right now, right? The PSA 9, right? Like I have the raw one. It's going for about $140 right now. A year ago, it was like a $50 card. It's tripled the value in the last year, just simply because of the race. Like some of those more expensive cards have absolutely, like his PSA 10 Young Guns, like that's gonna probably fetch between 8,000 to 10,000, I would think, overnight. I would imagine it was going for like 775, like around like in the last week or so. Now that he's broken it, I think this next few days you might see his sale hit 10K. Certainly 885, maybe 8,500 could reach 10K. I would think. Which
growing up, I was on a hunt for that rookie.
So was I, and I did end up owning one, and I later sold it, sadly, for not nearly as much money as it's worth right now. But one day I'll get one back in my collection when the market settles again, because that's the way it always happens. It'll settle. It'll settle again. But that's cool that you got yourself Couple of Ovi cards there, Dave. Look at you turning into a little card nerd. You have to come to the expo with me in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I heard it's going to be the big one in town.
Castle's going to be there.
Ooh.
Hot Dog Phil going to be in
I got
attendance
some
signing
Phil Kessel
autographs.
cards. Might be worth getting a couple of autographs from Phil on some cards.
Hey, possibly. You could do it. We could talk about that in a couple of weeks. Talk about the expo. I think there's a couple of Leafs who are going to be there. Usually is, at least. Anyways, congrats to Alex Ovechkin. It's an absolutely amazing feat. 895 goals in the NHL. Nobody has ever scored more. Will anyone ever score more? We'll debate that next here on the Locked On Leafs podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by Farm to Fork. If you're a fan of premium locally farmed meats delivered straight to your door, I've got some exciting news. Farm to Fork makes it easy to get high-quality steaks, air-chilled chicken, wild-caught seafood, and more, all with no antibiotics, hormones, or GMOs. Plus, everything comes flash frozen and individually packaged for all your convenience. All Farm to Fork meats are raised in Canadian farms, so when you order, you're supporting the local producers. It's time to buy Canadian. Farm to Fork meats are top-notch. I've had some amazing steaks that were tender, juicy, and perfectly cooked. The chicken is air-chilled, so it's fresher and more flavorful than what you get in the grocery store. And the wild-caught seafood, a game changer. It's fresh, it's clean, and full of flavor. They're delivering all across Ontario and Western Quebec. And the best part, delivery is free with a minimum order of $199. You don't even have to leave the house to get this quality. I've got a special code just for you Locked On Leafs listeners. Use Locked On 40. You'll get $40 off your first order at Farm to Fork. Visit farmtoforkdelivery.ca to start stocking up on the best meats around. Again, that's Locked On 40 for $40 off your first order. Farm to Fork, delicious locally farmed meats delivered straight to your door. Welcome back into the Locked On Leafs podcast. Mike DiStefano, Dave Morassutti with you, as we are each and every weekday, Monday through Friday. You can find it free and available wherever you get your podcasts, and also find the video version of the podcast up on YouTube as well. We are, I guess, celebrating Alex Ovechkin's feat as he becomes the NHL's all-time goal leader. Scored goal number 895 Sunday afternoon against the New York Islanders, surpassing Wayne Gretzky in the same amount of games it took Gretzky to break the record. Ovi does it scores one more goal in the same amount of games. It's just absolutely amazing how coincidental that turned out to be. Life is mysterious, very, very poetic, I would say. But 895, that's a lot of goals, Dave. That is a lot of goals. And, I'm curious, like, when you look around the NHL, like, can you see anyone even threatening that record? Or does it feel like that's one that's maybe here to stay?
Well, you think about, like, when I know Ovechkin was asked years ago about going after Gretzky record, and he says, like, he didn't contemplate the idea. Right. But, like, it's not about also how many goals he scored in a season. It's the consecutive amount of times he has scored 40 and 50 goals. 50. And there's only one player that comes to mind when it comes to the pace and potentially the length of time he has to get to that mark. It's Auston Matthews.
Yeah.
Like, if you look, he has, I know that I was looking at there was a article on CBS that kind of looked at, like, players that could challenge Matthews. Right now, at the time, he had 397 goals. He got 398 this past weekend against the Blue Jackets, so had him at about a 0.638 goals per game.
Yeah.
In the next 10 years, so if he were to stay in that pace for the next 10 years, he would surpass Ovi's mark. He would probably be over 900 goals in that span. Now, the one thing
when does Ovi quit, though?
So
that's every goal he scores extends it.
And that's the thing, right? The record can continue. He's definitely going to get over 900 if he continues playing. And I don't suspect he's done playing. Right. I think eventually he will. I think he'll want to go back to Russia. I know that's been a goal of his. I mean, he re-signed. I'm trying to remember when he re-signed his deal, but I'm sure that, at some point he could just go back to Russia, but I think he'll want to finish out. He has one more year left on his deal. Realistically, I could probably see next year if he's, you look at Washington, yes, they're doing so well, but he might just decide, I want to go back home. Like that's the thing that's going to determine all this. But I think Matthews is the likely challenger just because since he's come into the league, nobody has scored more goals than Auston Matthews. The only thing that's going to hold Auston Matthews back, and we know it's injuries. It's can he stay healthy enough to do it? Because Ovechkin, he's had that going from his whole career.
And Dave, that's why ultimately, I sadly, as much as I would love to see Matthews break this record and be the greatest goal scorer of all time, that's what's going to hold him back from doing that. I don't think that he's going to break the record. I think he could, touch up on 600-700 goals, but touch up on 9. I just think, there's just too often we see this guy get hurt. Like he's never played his rookie year, he played an 82 game season.
Yeah.
And he's only played an 81 game season after that, but he's missed a lot of hockey throughout his career. Like there's been a lot of injuries there. And that's the one thing about Ovechkin that you have to marvel at is how often this guy played. I mean, he only missed how many, what was it? He broke his leg earlier this year and only missed like 6 weeks. At 38 years old, 39 years old. That was it.
Yeah.
It was incredible. Meanwhile, you look at him and every single year, he's 82, 81, 82, 78, 79, 77, 79 games. Like the guy seems to be playing every single game and he has all year. The longevity, the health, and then of course the goal scoring. Like how many times? How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 time 50 plus goal scorer. It's just incredible what this guy's done. 9 times has he won the Rocket, Richard. Like it just feels like it's a record that just might not ever be broken, Dave. Like it might not. I don't think anyone in the NHL right now will break it at the very least. Maybe, there's some super 8-year-old right now who, we don't know about that's going to become the next Ovechkin or the next Gretzky or whatever it may be. Maybe Gavin McKenna. Probably not, but maybe Gavin McKenna, maybe Connor Bedard figures it out in year 3 in the NHL and rips home 75 goals and be like, whoa, okay, maybe Bedard is that kid. But right now, I just can't see it. The only other player that I saw, like, I took a look at like who the active goal leaders are in the NHL, and obviously Ovechkin's at number 1 with 895. No one's even close to him. Like Crosby's number 2 at 622, and then after that, Stamkos at 579. Gino at 513. But like those 3 players they're just too old. Like they're going to be done in the league in the next couple of seasons. There's no way that they're going to catch Ovi. Tavares, same thing. He's got 492. He's 5th on the active scoring list. Like there's just no one really until you get to, I would say, Leon Draisaitl, who's number 10 on the list. He's got 399 goals. But, he's already 29 years old. And I just feels like he may not have, that longevity that Ovechkin has had. But he was the other name that came to my mind, like possibly Leon. But Leon and Auston are the 2 guys. Like I don't know, does David Pastrnak belong in this conversation too? Because I think after Ovi and Matthews, I believe when you look at goals per game, Pastrnak is 3rd. 0.51 goals per game throughout his career. Now, what's going on with the Bruins now? I don't know. He may struggle to score and do anything, so I don't know anymore. But like that may be like the 3rd candidate. But it's a short list if we even can come up with a list at all, realistically.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just the ability to score, it's the ability to stay healthy that has really helped them. And, the consistency, like it takes skill to score. Everyone talks about, he got those goals from his office. That's really why they call it his office, because to get the puck to him open there, he's likely scoring. There's just not many players that can do what he has been able to do consistently, and like he's the most dangerous goal scorer on the planet. There's the way he showed it this year by being able to overcome what happened last year, where maybe there was some doubt because he only got just over 30 goals last year. That was a down year for him.
Well,
and
he
he's like, all
started
right,
off terrible last year, if you remember.
Yeah.
He had like 6 or 7 goals like at Christmas, and then went on a tear in the back half of the year, and then picked up right where he left off this season, and never looked back. Like got injured, obviously, missed 6 weeks, but then boom, hit the ball rolling right when he got back from that broken leg. It's incredible the season that he's had, the career that he's had, really. And yeah, I can't fathom seeing anyone currently in the NHL breaking that record. I'm with you where I think the only player who, if healthy, could come close is probably Matthews, and to an extent, possibly Leon if he plays until he's 40 years old. But yeah, even then, I wouldn't bet on it. Let's say that. I wouldn't bet on anyone breaking that record anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, no, I need like 10 years from now, we'll see. But I don't I'm with you. It's you're asking for a lot to go right for that to happen.
All right. On the other side, Dave, it was a wild weekend around the NHL. The Leafs won, but the Panthers and Lightning did not. And oh man, the Atlantic Division is getting wacky. Let's kind of dive into what happened this weekend and what the playoff outcomes might look like. It's looking a little more unclear as to who the wildcard teams may turn out to be. We'll get to all that more next year in the Locked On Leafs podcast.
Today's show is brought to you by Monarch Money. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app, it's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you stop just managing money and start building wealth. And look, if you're getting ready for tax season right now and you want to figure out where did your money go, how much did you spend, especially if you have to track some of your expenses, Monarch Money is actually really good at that. I'm doing that right now, getting myself ready for tax season. And if you're managing money with your partner, it's smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without the stress. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKDOWNNHL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKDOWNNHL for half off your first year. Today's show is also brought to you by Indeed. You just realized your business needed to hire somebody yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. When it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other sites. Indeed sponsored jobs. Put your post at the top of the page and help you reach the right candidates faster. If you're looking for somebody, you don't want to wait because every day without the right person is considered a setback. That's exactly when Indeed sponsored jobs comes in handy. They make sure your post is seen by the right candidate right now. Now you can speed up the hiring process with a $75 sponsored job credit. Just go to Indeed.com/lockedon right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring Indeed is all you need.
Welcome back into the Locked On Leafs podcast. Mike DiStefano, Dave Morassutti with you as we are each and every weekday here on the Locked On Leafs podcast. Toronto with a 5-0 win over the Columbus Blue Jackets Saturday night. Pure domination. It was exactly what you wanted to see from Toronto against a poor road team in the Columbus Blue Jackets. And you saw the Maple Leafs pick up another 2 points where the Florida teams continue to sputter and not pick up points over the weekend. And Dave, man, the Atlantic Division, it's becoming, I guess, it's becoming more clear that the Leafs are in a really good position to win this thing, but it's becoming less likely that they'll play the Ottawa Senators as the wild card team. Dude, one of these Florida teams could absolutely fall out of this, and Toronto could face one of them after all.
Yeah, no, this has just been kind of a like when I saw the Senators had won on Saturday and then the Panthers lost, and I saw that Ottawa's 4 points back. I'm like, oh, okay. Like this is getting a lot more dicey than like if you're a Panthers fan right now, probably not great the way you're seeing your team to play. I get it. The team is also missing. Biz was great on TNT. He's like, you got like $47 million sitting up at the press box right now. And then he's like they also know that, okay, at this rate, you're either playing Tampa or Toronto. Let's rest some guys and not even care who at this rate who they're going to play because they're not falling out of anywhere close. Like the first wild card is like probably like the lowest you're going. Nobody's catching anybody from there because I think Montreal's at 85, 7 points. That's a lot of points to make up. So like for them, it's like we're likely gonna, and you heard Paul Maurice talk about this. We're likely going to have to play one of the Ontario teams, and we're likely going to have to play one of the maybe Tampa, right, to get to where you want to go. So for them, it's probably like let's just accept our fate and just make sure our team is ready for the playoffs, and make sure guys who are banged up aren't as banged up.
Yeah, and you saw was it Sam Bennett and Sam Reinhart both got sit today, right? So they just didn't play, and it's interesting. It's like are the Florida Panthers tanking to avoid Tampa? Like, is that a possibility here, Dave? Because I mean, Florida they've lost a bunch of games here, like 3-6-1 in their last 10. They just continue to lose to like non-playoff teams, like whether it's Ottawa or it's Buffalo or Montreal. They lost those 2 games too. Like, I don't know. The Panthers are in a pretty tough spot right now, and like you mentioned it. There's a lot of money up in the press box. Three of their best players are up in the press box right now, but things are getting dicey, and there's just a 2-point buffer between them and Ottawa right now for that wild card team. And if I'm the Maple Leafs, I'm sitting here thinking, geez, Luis, we were thinking the whole time, all right, let's gun for that top seed. If we end up winning this game, we end up winning the division. All right, we get a Battle of Ontario. You feel good. You feel like, okay, we've got the Ottawa Senators now. And then all of a sudden, nope, might have to play the Panthers after all, who will be at full strength come playoffs, we assume. It's really kind of an interesting turn of events over the last week and a half.
It is. It's not how I was expecting things to go. I was preparing for a Battle of Ontario. It again, it's just one of those things where you'll truly get Florida's motives when the Leafs play Florida in Florida. Let's see how many of those guys that were sat in the lineup this weekend are playing against Toronto on Tuesday. That I think will lend us a real idea of just their focus on what they truly are preparing for. Like, so sometimes people say, don't show everything in these sort of games because you're going to see the team again. Kind of the Greg Maddux sort of thing where you kind of try to fool the other team. Like, Ottawa just beat up on the Blue Jackets. They got the Blue Jackets again, who are in a tailspin right now. Then they got the Canadiens, the Flyers, the Blackhawks, the Hurricanes. Like some winnable games there if you're Ottawa, and you realistically say to yourself, hey, we can make things maybe a little easier. I mean, if you're Ottawa, you probably would rather play Tampa round 1 than Toronto, which
you
might seem crazy.
I don't know. I think they would probably rather Toronto. The only reason why they might rather Tampa is because then they'll actually get some home games, because Toronto, it'll just be 7 straight home games. We know that. That would be the only reason why you would want to play Tampa. But you're 3-0 against the Maple Leafs, and like that suffocating style that they play has proven to be successful against Toronto. So like I don't know. I feel like Ottawa would be pretty content with a Battle of Ontario, come in as a scrappy underdog, as opposed to have to play Tampa and Vasilevsky and that scary squad that's out there, because that team's also kind of getting it going quietly. They've been outstanding of late too. So I don't know. Like I like Toronto and Tampa, like they are a coin flip, but I feel like Ottawa would prefer Toronto, just like Toronto would prefer Ottawa over Florida, realistically. So I think it would work out for both parties, the Sens and the Leafs, if everything just stayed as is, stay status quo. Let's get a Battle of Ontario, a Battle of Florida in round one, and then they can beat each other up, and let's see who gets out into round two for to see who can come out of the Atlantic Division. But that's how I would prefer it to work out. But hey, we've got 6 games to go for each of these teams, so we'll see what ends up happening. Actually, no, Florida, they're down to 5 games along with the Sens. So Sens and Florida, they got 5 games. Toronto and Tampa both with 6 games. The Leafs now with a 4-point lead on the Lightning, a 6-point lead on the Panthers, and they played both of those teams later this week. Tuesday, they got the Panthers in Florida, and then the next night, second half of back-to-back, they got the Tampa Bay Lightning. And I would think at this point, like, if you sweep those games, that's it. Division wrapped. Like, these are 2 big games coming up for Toronto. They could wrap the division, and then they could start resting people at that point, I think.
Yeah, you can rotate a little bit. I do think that, yeah, I people were telling me, oh, if they win Saturday and like Florida losing that, I said, what will really wrap it up for me, you see back-to-back wins, nice and tidy.
It's Tampa you're worried about now. It's not even Florida. It's Tampa.
Yeah. I'm not worried at this rate. Like Florida, like they're so banged up. They're clearly not willing to push guys, right? They're not really trying to play for the division. Not even playing to try to pass Tampa. They're just trying to stay healthy.
Feels like they're playing to avoid Tampa.
Yeah, if I'm the Leafs right now, Tampa's the only team that threatens your desire to get the Atlantic crown, and even then, like they got the Rangers, who are still a last grasp effort to try to get into the playoffs, and then you got the Leafs, and then like they've had some untidy losses and some wins against some not great teams. So like they've been kind of up and down the last little bit. But yeah, Tampa's the only team right now. If you're the Leafs, that's the only team you're looking at as a potential threat for your Atlantic Division crown.
So currently on moneypuck.com, they give the Leafs an 80.5% chance to win the division. Tampa with a 19.1% chance to win the division. Florida 0.4% chance to win the division. Ottawa, they're giving a 0% chance to win the division. If they win out, can they actually clinch? I need to quickly check that. I suppose if they win out their 5 games, they can get to 100 points. So I guess if they went out and the Leafs, Lightning, and Panthers like lose out, essentially, I guess they can. So it shouldn't be 0%. We're saying there's a chance, Dave. We're saying there's a chance, but I doubt it. I think Toronto's going to end up wrapping this thing up this week, and next week, you can focus on resting some of your star players. I actually have a theory that I want to float to you, but we'll save it for tomorrow's podcast when we tee up Leafs and Panthers. But that'll do it for us here today on the show. I'd like to thank you all for supporting the podcast. You can subscribe to the Locked On Leafs podcast on all platforms and receive daily Leafs content. Follow myself on Twitter at Mickey_Canuck. Follow Dave at D_Morassutti, and follow the show as well at Locked On Leafs. Hit us up on Instagram at Locked On Leafs as well. And we'll be back with another episode for you guys tomorrow. But until then, keep it locked right here on Locked On Leafs.